Hey there, podcasters. It's Gordon Firemark, your podcast lawyer. Let's talk about something that's on a lot of creators' minds right now, AI scraping. Now, this topic came from Aaron, a student in my Easy Legal for Podcasters program, and ordinarily I would just answer his question inside that community. But I think this is something that's on lots of creators' minds right now, so I thought I would make it public. Here's the scenario. You pour your experience, your stories, your systems, your expertise into your podcast, and then along comes some faceless AI model quietly slurping up your words to train itself, maybe even to help your competition sound more like you. So can they do that? And what can you do about it? Well, here's the reality. When you publish your podcast publicly through Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whatever, your episodes are technically out in the open, and that makes them accessible for crawlers and scrapers. But that doesn't mean that they're entirely fair game. You see, your podcast episodes, transcripts, show notes, and so on are copyrighted the moment you create them. And that copyright protects your expression, your words, your performance, your creative delivery, but not necessarily the underlying ideas or methods. So it's about the way you express those things. So if an AI or anyone else copies or reuses your material in a way that isn't truly transformative, that is substantially similar to what you've put out there, then you've got rights under copyright law. Now, the tricky part is that AI training is still a legal gray area. There are about 50 different lawsuits in progress, mostly from musicians, artists, writers, and scientific journal authors and things, who are arguing that scraping creative works for AI training violates copyright. And the courts have not really fully settled this question yet. So in the meantime, there are a few steps you can take to put boundaries around your content. Here's what I recommend. First off, post a no AI training notice in your show notes and on your website. Something that says something like, this podcast and its contents may not be used for training or developing AI systems without permission. It's a simple, clear statement of your intention, and it puts potential scrapers on notice. Then add that same language into your terms of use. If you have your own site or membership platform, that's where this goes. That turns this from a please don't into a binding contractual term of service. And use a robots.txt file on your website. This is a little technical file that tells crawlers to stay out. Major AI players like OpenAI and Anthropic say that they'll respect that. Now, it's not bulletproof, but it strengthens your position if someone ignores it. Next, keep your valuable material behind a paywall or in your paid course. If you've developed a unique system or method that might fall under trade secret protection, that you would use a non-disclosure agreement with other people when sharing it, then you want to keep it there. That only applies, though, if you don't make it public. Once it's out there for everyone, like in a podcast RSS feed, it's fair game. And finally, keep good records. Your original files and scripts and timestamps. That way, if you ever need to assert ownership, you've got the proof that you need, and that's gold. So, a no AI disclaimer may or may not stop every scraper, probably not, but it gives you something legally powerful. If someone does misuse your work, you'll be able to say, they ignored my explicit notice. That makes enforcement and takedowns much, much easier. So here's the bottom line. Your podcast is protected. You can and should set boundaries, and a few smart moves today can save you a lot of legal headaches later on. Now, if you want help putting together your own AI use policy, terms of use, or no scraping language for your show, you can reach out to me personally, and I'm glad to help you, or I've got the resources for you over at podcastlawyer.com. And you could check out my course, Easy Legal for Podcasters. It's a complete system that gets you to get in place all of the protection you need for your show. Because your voice, your words, and your systems are your intellectual property. And protecting all of that is just good business. So I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer. Thanks for watching. And hey, keep creating with confidence.